Welcome to the Strangecast, podcast made by strangers for strangers. I'm Ryan.
I'm Kalis.
I'm Nicole.
We're the Strangecast. If you've never heard it before, that's our 46-second version of our intro. We're playing it this time because we have a contest going on. If you have any musical talent whatsoever, feel free to cover that song or recreate it or reboot it, as Hollywood would call it, and send it to us, and the winner gets $25 via Visa gift card, I guess. But shout out to Airwhale on Reddit who let us use that theme, by the way. And he did let us use it. I have it in writing. But a little housekeeping. Check us out on our new website, mimeraudio.com/thestrangecast, MIMIR audio.com/thestrangecast. And you can find interesting facts about us, our bios, some pictures, how to follow us, and also our YouTube link, which will link you to all of our shows, which we're going to start putting on YouTube. So that should be fun. I mean, by the time you hear this, it'll be on YouTube. But I can't put it up there until we record it. This is season 2. We are going to be talking about new things. First is going to be strange news, and then a strange interview or strange person, and then a strange thing from history, be it person or event. So I think we should be called the strange noun, the person, place, or thing, which is the corniest thing I've ever said on the podcast. But I've already pre-gamed for this episode. I'm half-cocked already, so this should be a lot of fun.
When aren't you half cocked? Am I right?
Yeah.
Up top.
I'm full cocked most of the time.
Oh shit.
Cheers. Anyway. So first things first. I mean, we don't have to change what's going on, guys. We haven't talked since last week.
I shot some guns for the first time, so it was exciting. I shot a .22 rifle and
That does nothing, right? Really?
yeah, which was it was cool. It was really cool because like it's a good first time shooter gun, and I ended up doing really well at target practice. So, and I shot a .45 semi-automatic and then a .45 revolver, which was pretty awesome.
Okay, you're from Texas. You must shoot guns all the time, right? Because that's how Europeans view Americans.
That is a complete misnomer. I never hunt. I'm not a hunter at all. I mean,
I thought it was like a high school requirement.
No. I mean, they have a class where that's more like wood shop and.
I feel like in Texas they have like in Connecticut we have metal detectors for the high schools in case someone brings a gun to school. So if it goes off, you like get in trouble. But in Texas, I feel like it's the opposite. If the metal detector doesn't go off, they're like, "Where's your gun, bro?" Or they don't say that in Texas. They're like,
I don't think so. That's kind of like, I live in a smaller like dairy farm community, and I went to a bigger area, and I told them where I was from, and they're like, "Oh, do you ride a tractor to school?" And
you're bad. Yeah.
Obviously you're milking cows all the time, and I mean, like, I have milked a cow before, but that doesn't.
Oh shit! I've never milked a cow.
I didn't do it a lot. I mean, my grandparents own a dairy, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but that's more often than most people. Well, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about season 2 and talking about weird news and strange things and strange people. Just so you guys know, the episode today is going to be strange news, then the interview with Kalis. Kalis interviewed someone, and then we'll wrap it up with I have a strange person from history. The first person we're talking about is Lizzie Borden. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Lizzie Borden?
Yeah, man.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? I know, it's funny because when I told people, oh, yeah, I got to do the podcast, and they're like, oh, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, Lizzie Borden. A lot of people did not know who she was. I didn't realize she wasn't as popular as I thought. But yeah, supposed axe murder, alleged axe murder. But first things first, why don't we get to the news with Nicole?
Oh, hi guys. I'm gonna bring you the news. I really feel like I should have my own theme. That's how cool this
You
news
know,
is gonna be.
it's funny because I'm gonna make something up, by the way, for the intros. I haven't decided yet, but if you want to put a theme in, that's fine, or if you have one. All right, so we're talking about strange news. So this is just shit that kind of pops into your news stream, I guess, if people have news streams anymore. Or, typically when we find strange news, it's either it comes up and it's like, oh, it's fucking weird, whether it's local news or you actually have to seek it. So if we found in the past that if nothing weird is happening in our own hometowns, we kind of look elsewhere. So Nicole's come up with for episode 1, she's come up with how many stories?
I've got 8.
8.
I don't know if we're gonna get to 8.
You're probably not gonna hear. We'll probably talk about all 8, but whoever's listening right now is probably not gonna hear all 8. So, but if obviously, email us if you have something really strange that happened in your hometown.
I love strange hometown news. Those are the best. They really are.
So, do you have strange hometown news?
I had one, but I cut it out because I didn't think it was strange enough. These stories are much better. But coming from somewhere in the United States. Oh, you know what? This might be from the UK. I ran across this on Yahoo, and it's a strange story of these 2 brothers that are actually 39 and 42, but their sunny dispositions are of that of like 5 or 6-year-olds. They have this extremely rare and terminal form of leukodystrophy. Did you hear about this?
Leukodystrophy? No.
It's an extremely rare genetic disorder, and it attacks the white matter of the nervous system, and so the spinal cord and the brain start to break down over time. And so up until 6 years ago, these 2 brothers had families and jobs, everyday lives, and all of a sudden their cognitive functions and their physical functions just started to break down.
Do their parents have it? Do you know?
Their parents don't seem to, because the parents are taking care of them.
The parents are old, right?
Yeah, they're like in their 60s,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, so they've got to stay at home. They play with trains and Mr. Potato Head, and they just hang out, kind of being almost like, toddlers.
It's so weird. So they basically they develop past 6 and then regress to 6?
Right, yeah, it didn't attach. Yeah, exactly. They have families.
Like Benjamin Button.
Kids. Yeah, pretty much. Real life Benjamin Button.
What's the title of what's the headline?
Mine's Real Benjamin Button.
Oh, it is real. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be weird. Did you ever see Benjamin Button?
I didn't see it, no.
He's a kid. He's like a baby that's an old baby. It's this. I don't know how they did it, but would you ever wanna? I think it's better. Wouldn't it be better to live your life backwards? I mean, age backwards?
No, that'd be horrible.
Why would that be horrible? After everything you've learned and experienced, you get to enjoy it that much more. Youth is wasted on the young, is what they say, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. But I mean, to be like say a 2-year-old, but really you're like 67. That would be awful.
Body-wise, though, not.
Yeah, you're a 2-year-old body-wise.
Yeah, you have nothing. What are you gonna do at 2? You don't have to do anything.
But mentally, you're a 67-year-old. You'll be bored all the time.
No, mentally, it's not. Well, you're not born with all of your memories. You're not like living like Merlin.
Then I don't get it.
Your body ages backwards.
So what happens to your mind?
It ages backwards too, but you still learn shit. You don't know it until you experience it.
Wouldn't your mind age at a normal way? So, like the opposite of what your body is aging?
Well, your experiences would, but your mind would still age backwards. So technically, as you get older, you get younger and you're able to remember things a lot better. However, you hit a certain age where you just can't store short-term memory anymore.
All right.
And that just sounds like it sucks all around.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather live like that.
But these poor guys, I don't know. They lived their lives and they kind of had to give them up,
How old were they?
They are 39 and 42.
Yeah, that's too young to regress to 6.
Yeah, and so fast.
Did it say how fast?
6 years ago, they started developing symptoms.
So they could be like 12 right now.
No, I mean, like, this article talks about their lives.
So there's 2 old guys that play like Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now?
I think Yu-Gi-Oh might be too complicated for them. They play with, like, Mr. Potato Head and stuff.
like Pokemon and shit?
Isn't that sad?
Pokemon.
That's in the UK. I don't know. I would just hate to. One of my worst fears in life was to have dementia. But as time goes on, I feel like it's actually better to have dementia.
I'd rather, as my brother says, he refers to his Harley as a life quality insurance policy, making sure he doesn't get old enough to experience that. Yeah, no.
Did you guys ever wonder how you're gonna die?
What?
Quickly.
You think you're gonna die quickly,
Well, I hope so.
Kalis?
Probably in an automobile accident.
Oh,
That's what Me too. I think I'm gonna go the same way, Kalis.
I used to think that a lot because I had to do a lot of driving across town for work. I could just see people coming that close to hitting me.
Yeah, it's not so much me as it is other people.
Right.
I guess statistically, you're most likely to die in a car accident.
True.
If you had to pick a way to die, what would it be?
Medicated.
So overdose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, euthanized.
You can do that anytime. Oh. What about you, Kalis?
I'm not sure.
If you had to pick any way to die,
I don't know.
sex.
I was just going to say sex overdose.
Death by sex? I mean, I guess that's one way to do it.
Just
death
have like
by
a
snoo-snoo.
massive heart attack
Yeah.
as you reach orgasm.
Yeah, well,
That'd be
hopefully
nice.
you reach it, and then it's a bit
Yeah.
worse. Be like, oh, I didn't even finish. Oh, I'm dead. Ugh.
All right, so our next, I can kind of, there's not much to the story, but I can kind of tell where it's going. But anyway, from the table of the Fox News, sweet tooth thieves steal 18 tons of Austrian chocolate.
Who? Sweet toothies?
Thieves.
Sweet tooth thieves?
Mm.
I like sweet toothies better.
They
That should
drove-
name their.
They actually, they drove off with 18 tons of a semi.
You don't just drive off with 18 tons?
Yeah, I guess it was in a semi. They drove off with it. They were trying to deliver it in the Czech Republic, and then they checked their paperwork, and it was all counterfeit. So
They stop them at the border and are like, "Excuse me, can I see your permit for chocolate? Your chocolate permit?" And what's worse is that they probably had they probably have forged documents for like 15 tons. I'm like, "Sorry, sir, you're gonna have to step out of the vehicle. We're registering 18 tons of chocolate here, and this paperwork's only for 15."
But I mean, I'm sure they were just gonna sell it. But it's like, why do we have thieves that we're in such desperate times that they'll steal chocolate to resell? That's pretty bad. It's not a high overturn, for the risks that you're taking.
Well, how much jail time do you get out of that?
I don't know. Do they have jails in the Czech Republic or Austria? Does Austria have jail?
I don't know. I bet they give you diabetes. They're like, you have to eat it all. That's the punishment.
Death by chocolate. That's how I want to go.
Death by chocolate. Yeah. Well, sex in chocolate would be.
Well, yeah, of course. Dip me in chocolate and then have sex with me.
I want to go like a Bond girl in chocolate.
So you guys know about furries, right?
Furries?
Yeah.
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 Wait, what do you mean? Yeah. What do you know, Kalis? What do you know about furries?
I know that there are people that dress up in animal costumes.
Yeah.
And
Do you guys have any furry friends?
no.
No,
Well, I
don't.
guess I don't know. I don't know anyone with a big enough costume to be a furry.
Well, some of them, not all of them dress up, but most of them do.
I thought that was the idea, was to dress up.
Well, no, some of them just like draw their character, their persona.
They draw it, what? Show it to their partner?
Yeah, it's not necessarily about sex because, for example, check it out. Tokay High School students flock together in eccentric new club. Okay.
Where's Tokay?
Tokay, where is this?
I said which Tokay? Like,
Lodi Galt area?
where's that?
I don't
That
know.
doesn't help me. Lodi Galt area. Oh, that Tokay.
Oh, oh yeah, that's okay. No, I have no fucking idea where this is.
All right, so they're furrying it out in high school.
Yeah, so this high school has a new club for their furries, and a 16-year-old named Ian Holt dressed up in a blue dog collar and wore a tag labeled Blaze, which is the name of his persona, and a T-shirt depicting a wolf on a mountain range. And he held their third meeting at the new furry fandom club at his high school. It's sanctioned by his high school, so.
So the high school's okay with this?
Yeah, they said they're trying to make it welcoming and imaginative and encourage kids to meet up and talk about similar interests.
Doesn't that kind of encourage sex too, though?
But see, that's the thing. It doesn't, because furries don't necessarily, it's not a fetish. They just see themselves as an animal persona. So they like write stories about their character and.
Do you know this kid's story?
No, it doesn't say. There is a clarification at the top, which I'll read because it's hilarious. The furry club at Tokay High School is entirely focused on students who wish to express their affinity for animals through drawing, costumes, and stories. An earlier version of the story did not state clearly the club's focus. Also, though Ian Holt is the founder and president of Tokay High School Furry Club, he does not believe he was reincarnated from wolves, as some may have inferred from the story. He is a devout Christian.
Do furries often think, what? Wait, what? Can you read that one more, just that last line again?
He does not believe he was reincarnated from wolves, as some may have inferred from the story. He is a devout Christian. I don't know what the story said before, because this was written on November 9th, but they had to rewrite it.
I really want to hear that story. You know what the best part is? Do you think those two old guys are like, I want to dress up as animals?
Oh, that's cruel, dude.
I think they could get in on that.
That's cruel.
Dude, those two old guys and a shitload of chocolate and some furries.
So, I had to check out Japanese news, see what's going on in Japan.
That's not fair.
Well, I didn't find anything nearly as interesting as a high school furry club, but I did find something weird. It's coming from the town of Kanagawa.
Okay.
Apparently, they caught a section manager of a post office because they caught him stealing thousands of New Year's postcards from the post office, like postcards that they sell there. And then he took them and went to another store that sells them, I guess, to sell them. Police say that their suspicions were aroused when Abe was seen carrying a large number of postcards.
The police were aroused when they saw him with the goods.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it's a really short article, but apparently New Year's postcards are serious fucking business in Japan.
It's like always New Year's in Japan though, isn't it? Aren't they in the year like 38 million? I'm pretty sure they are. Wait, so this guy was stealing postcards from his own post office and selling them to another post office?
No, to a discount store.
To a discount store. And they were like, hey, where are you going?
Yeah.
Where are you going with our postcards? And he's like, nowhere. And they're like, I don't know about this guy.
So coming from the faraway land of Toronto, Canada.
Oh, we are going to get through 8 stories, aren't we?
Oh, we might. This is actually kind of more sad than weird, but it's still kind of weird.
I still can't do it. They're like, he's walking out with a bag of postcards.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey.
Question him until he, I don't know.
Police were aroused when they saw him with the goods. You're like, oh yeah. Just like, it's like 18 tons of chocolate, huh? I don't know about this.
So a disabled couple in Toronto, were
both of them disabled.
Yes. Were fighting to keep their newborn son after social workers threatened to take him away unless they got him round-the-clock, able-bodied care. So this couple both have cerebral palsy. So they're both physically disabled.
Okay.
To one extent.
And they have a kid.
They have a 1-month-old. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This was actually first posted in May. So there's actually a happy ending to the story, but I'll get through this. But
wait a minute. I'm sorry. But before we start,
Why would they have a kid? Right.
Not why. Not why. How?
Well, looking at the picture, he's pretty disabled and she's not so affected.
So he didn't really have a say in it.
He looks pretty happy.
Well, I mean, he had sex. I mean, like,
He's holding his newborn and he's very happy. They both wanted a child.
he's holding it? This guy's not that disabled.
He looks pretty disabled.
Everyone I know with cerebral palsy can't have sex and can't hold a baby. You would never give someone with cerebral. That sounds very ignorant, but everyone I know with cerebral palsy, I would never be like, hey, would you like to hold my child?
There's different stages of the disease.
Is there stages?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know enough about it, so that's why it sounds ignorant. But still.
Yeah, I mean, when you know someone's affected by it, they're very disabled. Whereas, you might have met somebody who maybe had like a severe limp, and you might have attributed it to like an injury, but it might have been cerebral palsy.
Does it say cerebral palsy?
They both have cerebral palsy.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds more like MS then. But I don't know enough about it. So, all right. So, sorry.
You know what? You're the nurse. I didn't actually do any research. I'm just going off of what I've noticed.
I know. I guess that's why I have the questions, because I'm just kind of curious for my own sake. I didn't know you could...
Listen, our listeners are just going to have to write in and correct us, because we don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they actually had somebody go and spend some time in the house and observe them taking care of their newborn, and the mother is very able to take care of the newborn. They said that, maybe when the child is older, like 5 or 6, and they weigh, upwards of like 60, 70 pounds, they would have a difficult time, picking up something, a child that heavy. But so far, they're very capable of taking care of this newborn. So after this person reported this, he actually came back earlier this week and said that, after his special aired on whatever news in Toronto, the social services dropped the case against them. So it was happy news. They get to hang on to their kid for as long as they...
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
I don't know. Like, I just don't understand why you would have... Isn't that genetic? Isn't cerebral palsy genetic?
Yeah, I don't think you're guaranteed to get it.
Right, but...
But I know, I mean, you have a better... I'm pretty sure it's genetic. I do know a friend of mine has sharp marine tooth, CMT, and that is genetic, but you're not necessarily guaranteed to get it, I guess, with all genetics. So it's all like the same kind of disease, kind of. It's all like myelin sheath degradation of like your neurons and stuff. And I know that he has a brother who doesn't have it. His mother kind of has it. His father doesn't have it, but his mother's not like disabled with it. Not that he's disabled, but he has it a lot worse than actually most people in America. So like, I'm assuming it goes the same with MS and cerebral palsy. Like, there's probably different degrees of getting it. It's genetic, but you're not... Like, you could have a kid that doesn't have it.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know. Just that risk seems kind of, I don't know, irresponsible, I want to say. But, whatever.
Yeah, you
in
can't
other
deny someone
news...
a family, right? I mean, you can't really deny someone a family.
I wish we could, but no, you can't. In other news, a dolphin bites an 8-year-old girl at SeaWorld.
Wait a minute.
Good.
Kalis.
Yo.
Are you there?
Yeah.
All right. You high?
Little.
Okay. Just curious. You haven't said a word.
I'm kind of stoned. Keep going.
So in other news, a dolphin bites an 8-year-old girl at SeaWorld. Just good. You don't even need to know. There's an article. And
Wait, do dolphins have teeth?
Yeah.
They do?
Yes,
like,
they do.
Like,
they
what are the
fish.
teeth? Yeah, but you don't need teeth to eat fish. I feel like most fishes gulp them up. They're like, gulp. I've never seen one fish chew another fish.
Well, you haven't seen enough fish then. Yeah, dolphins have teeth.
Was the dolphin provoked?
Yeah, did she bite the dolphin first?
God, I don't even care. Like, this whole thing is so stupid. There's a bunch of self-righteous indignation from the fucking parents, and I'm so irritated. You know what? She got bit. She deserved it because she didn't follow the rules, so good.
Oh, so she was kind of provoked.
They didn't provoke him. She was very excited. She wasn't trying to provoke him. She was very excited, and she had a plate of dolphin food in her hand, and she jumped up, and the dolphin saw it and jumped also and bit her entire arm.
So we should euthanize this dolphin.
No. Fuck that 8-year-old and fuck her parents. Seriously. Because now they're blaming SeaWorld for age limits. And it's like, well, if you don't trust your daughter to listen to rules, then you should be parenting her, not SeaWorld.
So the family is saying you said it was okay for 8-year-olds, and that is kind of a strange situation, though, isn't it? Because you can't really what is the age limit? Do we know what the age limit is?
It doesn't say what the age limit is, but she was, the daughter is 8 and she was allowed to be in there. But the rules were very clear. They're like, please keep your hands away from
the blowhole.
I don't know how close she was. She must have been really close, like above the tank. So, and dolphins can jump. You've seen them. Well, anyway, fuck that 8-year-old and fuck her parents.
8-year-olds, dude.
8-year-olds. Dude.
I literally just finished watching that movie before we started doing this.
Really?
Yeah. Dude abides.
The dude abides.
About you, but I take comfort in hearing that.
The dude abides.
So coming from the exotic land of Montreal, Canada.
Again.
Or earlier is Toronto. Well,
Yeah, but
this is really weird in the sense of like I don't understand it. It's a controversial HIV study that they're going to do in Montreal, and basically they want to study if this preventive drug will help people from getting HIV. And instead of taking it, this is how you're supposed to take it all the time now, as is. They want to test this drug and see if you can take it 2 hours before having sex. So they want gay men, they want sex workers.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they need 400 HIV negative gay men. That's what it says.
No, they cannot say that. Does it really say that?
A team of researchers is seeking the help of up to 400 HIV negative gay men.
No, there's ethical problems involved.
Hey, this is Canada, buddy.
You can't give someone a pill and say this might stop you from getting AIDS, but you have to take it and then fuck a gay guy.
Is it actual HIV or is it synthetic HIV?
It's got to be synthetic HIV. That's what I was thinking.
No, these people do not have HIV.
Right.
No.
But the HIV that they're being administered.
No. They're not being given HIV. They're given HIV preventive medicine. It's going to prevent you from getting it, from contracting the disease.
But they're not going to test it with real AIDS or HIV. You can't do that.
I didn't say they did.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, I said, listen, a team of researchers is seeking the help of up to 400 HIV negative gay men.
No, I know that. Yeah, you're yeah. But
nobody in the study has AIDS.
Right. I know. No, I get that. But what do you think that they're gonna do? So you think these HIV negative people are gonna take this pill and then do what?
They just have normal sexual intercourse. Dude, I don't know.
Yeah. Something's not right about that. I don't think Canada. It's not like Canada's like
They've actually already
ethical.
started the study in Paris.
Oh, Paris!
That explains it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's weird about this article is that they actually have the trial abstract right here. So I'll send it to you and you can read it later. But
we'll post it on the website too.
I don't really understand how. I mean, if nobody gets AIDS, then it's a success. I mean, what if their partners didn't have AIDS to begin with? Do they test their partners? I don't really understand it.
Right, and that's why it's got to be synthetic. I'm not going to read this right now. I can't even
No,
get
don't read it right now. No.
I don't even know how because I can't get to it.
You're so drunk. God damn it.
No, I don't know how to work Skype. I don't know.
Because you're fucking drunk. You don't know how to
Methodology. Hold on. Research will study about 400 men who are at high risk of. Wow, it really is. This means men with multiple partners who work in the sex industry or whose partners are HIV positive.
Oh, I guess they. Oh, okay. Then their partners are.
Oh, wait a minute, Kalis. A
Yes.
3-year study conducted in South America and Thailand, which evaluated the effectiveness of a drug taken once every day, showed a 43.8% reduction in the spread of HIV. So this started in South America and in Thailand.
Right. But see, that drug, you had to take it once every day forever. But this test is different in the regards of you take it 2 hours before you have sex.
Oh my God, you didn't get... This is the strange part. The research methods are controversial because half of the study's participants will be taking a placebo.
Right, exactly.
And there's a fear they could be lulled into a false sense of security and stop using condoms.
Right.
How are they
And,
testing?
well, you didn't
This
even let
doesn't
me
make
get to that
sense.
part. Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow, this is odd. This is really odd.
Yeah, it's a crazy test.
Yeah, the research methods and everything. It's...
Well, I have one last story for you, but it's not nearly as strange as that test, as that study.
Okay.
But apparently wolves are closing in on Berlin.
I know. You sent me
Berlin's
that
going to be
one.
taken.
You sent me that one before we started this, and it was like I was watching football, and I got it, and I clicked on every link you sent me, but this one I clicked. This was probably the one I was like, I don't know what the hell she's sending me anymore, because it was like wolves are closing in
on Berlin.
and I was like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't even make sense. What?
Well, apparently their hunting territories, they're moving out because of whatever reasons, I guess because of development, but they're moving into the cities to hunt.
Oh, so they're
basically werewolves are real, is what I'm saying.
yeah, werewolf in Berlin. And so wolves they're outside of Berlin now plotting. They have like tents, they have like smoke signals, and there's just like someone's banging drum, boom, 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 and they're like, tomorrow, boys. They're all sipping coffee. They're playing cards like the dogs in the photo. That's not like a real title of a wolves are closing in on Berlin. Do they need America's help? Should we set up camp? No, not the wolves.
And that concludes the Strangecast News Center.
The very first Strangecast News. The Strangecast News team. We have Nicole in the field. Nicole.
Hi, Ryan. I'm reporting for Berlin right now. The only term that I have for it is pandemonium. The wolves are in Berlin now.
I don't know if you can see, but behind me there are a pack of wolves, or a wolf pack, as they like to be called. I have a wolf here. How do you feel about Berlin people? Delicious. Kalis, where are you?
I'm right here.
Kalis, it's a radio show. They can't
See you.
I'm sorry.
They can't see your thoughts forming in front of you.
Edit in comments that you're gonna say now. It's gonna seem like we're ignoring you, though.
I just don't have anything to say right now. I'm sorry.
Fine. That's fine.
I did a bad job of capturing Kalis's attention with my news stories. I'm sorry.
No, they were interesting. I listened to them.
Oh, thanks, Kalis. Thank you.
Well, next up is Kalis's interview with a guy who had his arm chopped off.
He was just telling me he broke a bone in his arm that it's like one of the ones. It's just something you really don't want to break. It's like more in his wrist. I can't remember what it's called, but
Radius, ulna.
I don't know.
Well, you have 2 bones in your forearm.
But he said it probably won't ever heal.
No, he said it's in his wrist. What are the bones of the wrist, Brian? Go. I know you took anatomy.
It's well, the wrist bone's connected to the
to the arm bone, and the arm bone's connected to the
elbow bone. I don't know. There's a lot of bones in the wrist actually, because it starts the metacarpal. Yeah, because
Right.
carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So there's actually a lot of them. So
like
to break
what, 10?
one of those.
I think there's 10.
Yeah. Or is there's 10 in the foot, and there's the metatarsals. But yeah, to break one of those is A, pretty hard to do, and B, probably pretty difficult to heal.
Well, there you go.
So this all starts when one of my friends is having sex with this girl that he met at this music festival. We're having some beers with her, and she invites us to this party. She says there's going to be a ton of people there, and we're thinking people our age, in their early 20s. Not necessarily the case. She also says that there is going to be a lake cabin. There is no lake cabin. So we drive 2.5 hours to this party, where they said we were going to have to stay. What they did not inform us of was that we were definitely going to need tents and sleeping bags, and there probably needed to be some arrangements about how all this shit was going to be done. None of this happened. Also supposed to be a 3-kegger, ended up being a 2-kegger, which I suppose is fine, but it was still misleading. Don't appreciate that. And so, well, we decided we're not going to worry about it. You can always figure out what to do when you're intoxicated. Probably not the greatest idea in the world, but, that's what we did. And so we all started drinking. This is her entire family. She is like the only person our age at all. I mean, it's awful. But, make the most of it. It's free beer. And so her family apparently cannot hold their liquor because they get hammer drunk. And we had invited a couple more friends down that were girls. Well, they make this girl jealous. Well, her mother is batshit crazy, as the girl is as well. So my friend that is having sex with her, they keep saying that we need to leave, but he can't leave with us. A very strange situation to be in. And so whenever they find out that these girls are down there, the mother tries to grab one of them and drag her over and slam her head in the car door. And so as this is all occurring, one of my other friends gets into a disagreement with her grandfather, mostly on the grandfather's part. He punches this 65-year-old man with cancer, punches my friend in the nose. Then he continues to try to fight him. Well, my friend is trying to get away from him because who wants to punch a 65-year-old man with cancer? Yet, in the end, that is ultimately what he did. He punched the 65-year-old man with cancer. And I'm not condoning it, I'm just saying that's what happened. During the meantime, they tried to separate the girls. Well, now one of my friends, the one that is having sex with this girl that we invited the party to, she is trying to start some more shit across the party, and her stepdad is trying to get involved. I'm unaware of any of this. I come back to the party after going to get more cigarettes, and whenever I come back, I come up on this situation. This woman is lying on the ground. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? And so I help her up. Well, she's screaming, help, 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 what the hell? And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but, it's a woman lying on the ground, so I helped her up. And as I'm walking away, her 50-year-old husband tackles me. And as I land, I hit my head, laceration, and I try to catch myself, and I snap my wrist. What's called a scaphoid fracture. Then, of course, more shit ensues. There is this... we lost the keys to the vehicle, which we don't need to be leaving anywhere, but at this point, we're basically going to have to go somewhere. So one of our friends is still sober because he wasn't having any fun, and he was hungover as hell from the night before. What I didn't realize had happened is the one that had punched the elderly gentleman, he had actually body slammed this woman onto the ground, all of which I was unaware. And so, yes, that is the story of how I broke my wrist.
Okay.
8. There's 8 bones.
Did you just count them on your own hand?
No, I can't. You can't see them. No, I found a chart.
Yeah, I know you can't see them.
I don't
There's
have
all that
X-ray
skin
vision.
in the way. Yeah.
I don't have X-ray vision. No, there's 8. I counted.
That was one of the hardest things to learn in A&P, was all the bones of the hand and the foot.
This one's named after a fucking shape. It's called the trapezoid.
Yeah. No, I didn't say... Wait, hold on. It's to learn all the names at the same time, both in the hand and the feet. And then one looks like a sailboat. I remember that. I don't remember all of them, but...
Like trapezoids.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
Guys, we should have T-shirts, and one of them will say, "I like trapezoids."
Trapezoids, yeah. We'll have a trapezoid on the back.
No. It should be a trapezoid, and inside the trapezoid it says, "I like trapezoids."
A-list with the zinger.
Parents,
Careless.
how high are you? Oh my god.
Got that dank
Holy
shit.
Oh my god. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good.
I know. You know what though? I picture you in your room listening to all our weird news stories, thinking that's pretty crazy, and not once realizing you could chime in with us.
Yeah, I mean, I was more listening than I was.
I know. That's what I pictured you being like. That's nuts. All right. So Lizzie Borden. I'll ask Nicole, and then I'll ask her bird. Well,
he's very excited right now. I'm sorry.
sounds it. Edie. Man. All right. So when I usually talk about someone new, like the serial killers that we've done in the past, I always ask you what you know about them. Now, Kalis, you said you don't really know much about Lizzie Borden, right?
Right.
Okay. Nicole, what do you know about Lizzie Borden?
I know that she gave her father 40 whacks, and then she went and gave her mother 41.
Yeah, she whacked off her dad.
With like an axe.
It was her father. Yeah, it was a hatchet back then. They called it. It was like in the 1890s. She allegedly killed her father and killed her stepmother. Now, so Lizzie Borden. So Kalis, I'm talking to you about this because Nicole already knows pretty much the story.
Okay. Lay it on.
That's basically what it comes down to. She was an axe murderer, but she really wasn't, or she was acquitted. She was an American woman, this is from Wikipedia, who was tried and acquitted in the 1892 axe murder of her father and her stepmother in Massachusetts, Fall River, Massachusetts, where I think there's a bus station like right across the street from the house, because I remember going to it at one time, not realizing it. And I was like, oh, what's up with that house? And they're like, oh, that's where Lizzie Borden murdered everyone. So anyway.
Are you saying she got off the hook?
She got off the hook, yeah. She she didn't kill them. It depends on how you look at it, right? She's really only famous. So I was telling my friend right before we were recording. I was like, yeah, I'm doing the story about Lizzie Borden, and he didn't know about Lizzie Borden either. And he said, why is she even famous if she's an axe murderer? And I was like, well, it's more of like a controversy / like Casey Anthony kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like everyone gets murdered by axes once in a while, or hatchets, especially in the 1800s. But like, I don't know, especially in the 1800s. But like, why this one? And it was just like Casey Anthony, like mothers kill their kids kind of often, you know. But every once in a while, it's like this big story. And by the way, Casey Anthony, if you're listening, give me a call.
You would go on a date with Casey?
You're disgusting.
What? She's hot. She's hot.
You're a pig. She murdered her child.
She did not. She was acquitted, just like Lizzie Borden.
I don't give a fuck. She fucking murdered that little girl because she wanted to date men like you.
Men like me?
No, she was a party animal and she was tired of her kid dragging her down, so she fucking killed her.
All right. Well,
we all know it. You know it. I know it. People know it.
I'm not. I wouldn't actually date Casey Anthony, but I do think she's attractive. Although I also think she killed her daughter. What's wrong? I'm not agreeing.
My thing is more like, even if you could get past that, like, would you want to date somebody who's like surrounded by such a like scandal of any kind? I mean, that she's like I don't know. Well, she's so well known. I mean, everywhere you go with her, people would know who she is. It would draw unwanted attention to you.
No, I would not date Casey Anthony.
I'm just wondering. No, I'm just thinking of it from that.
No, hypothetically. Hypothetically, I wouldn't want to be around somebody who is surrounded by that. No.
No. Who would? Well, there's people that would, right?
Yeah. Some people don't mind.
Yeah.
Look at those two whack jobs that got married after. What was her name? I can't remember her name, but she had sex with her 14-year-old student, and then they got married after they got out of prison.
She was hot.
Yeah.
She was hot.
She was hot though. Those, even if you don't agree with it, which I don't agree with Casey Anthony, I want to get that point across. But there's like 2 or 3 of those teachers that were like you would have done it. You know what I mean?
My teacher? I don't know.
No. If she were your teacher, we're getting off track here because we don't even know names of these people. We might be talking about different people.
No, we're talking about the same person. They have kids.
They have kids.
Yeah. She went to prison, and they even had like conjugal visits because by that time he was like of age. And then they got married because her husband fucking divorced her.
So it was true love. Oh, that's right. Her husband divorced her. We are talking about someone else. You're
Oh.
talking about the girl whose husband divorced her like 2 weeks after their marriage, right?
No, this is like several years ago.
Right.
This happened like over 10 years ago because I was still in school.
Oh, I don't remember. All right. Well, I mean, there's so many of those stories. But anyway, Kalis.
Yes.
So she's famous because of the controversy. And the controversy is, and this is from Wikipedia. On August 4th, 1892, Andrew Borden had breakfast with his wife, did his usual rounds of the bank and post office, returned about 10:45 in the morning. The Bordens' maid, Bridget Sullivan, who they called Maggie, testified that she was in her third-floor room, resting from cleaning windows, and Wikipedia doesn't say this, but she was cleaning windows on like an unnaturally hot day, right?
Right.
Just before 11:10 a.m., she heard Lizzie call out, "Maggie, come quick. Father's dead. Someone came in and killed him." So still, this really hasn't gained attention, though. Like, this isn't like a Casey Anthony, right? But it's how he died that really sparked everything. And Mr. Borden was killed with an axe to the face after about 11 blows. Eyeball split in two. He must have been sleeping. When I say they, that's also Wikipedia. So they find the father dead. And Lizzie's like, go get a doctor. And the maid goes and gets a doctor. And the neighbors and the doctors are dealing with Lizzie Borden. And the maid goes upstairs and finds the stepmother dead the same way, with like axe to the face. And then they go to trial.
Okay.
The father was a property developer, owned what did it say? Textile mills, which I didn't know what they were, but textile mills are like cotton and silk and that kind of shit. I don't think he had silk, but it was definitely cotton, I think was one of them. And he was the president of a savings bank and deposit and trust company. So he was worth a shitload of money. Then I found transcripts from the trial, which I didn't even know they had, right? And this is what Lizzie has to say. They asked Lizzie, like, what's your name? And she's like, Lizzie. And they're like, is that short for Elizabeth? And she's like, no, it's Lizzie. Get it right or pay the price. I'll axe you in the face. Which she didn't actually say that. That would have been
I was gonna say that's awesome. She's hardcore.
yeah, and it's all written down. They asked her about like, does anyone hate your father? And she's like, no. But there was an argument a couple weeks ago. And they asked her about it, and she said, I did not see anything. I heard the bell ring, and father went to, this is how they talked, and father went to the door and let him in. I did not hear anything from some time except just the voices. Then I heard the man say, I would like to have that place. I would like to have that store. Father said, I'm not willing to let your business go in there. The man said, I thought with your reputation for liking money, you would let your store for anything, as in you would rent your store for anything. Father said, you are mistaken. Then they talked for a while, and then their voices were louder, and I heard father order him out and went to the front door out with him. This is, then they ask, who else? And this part I found funny. You guys watch Arrested Development?
Yes.
Okay, do you know that part in Arrested Development where he's like, where he's talking to Amy Poehler, where Job is talking to his wife?
Yes.
And he's like, and she's like, I'm in love with your brother-in-law. And he's like, my brother-in-law? You mean Michael? And she's like, no, that's your brother, or something like that.
Right. I'm in love with your sister's husband.
Right.
Yeah, I know. He
like really,
keeps trying to say he keeps guessing everybody else.
yeah, and he's like, but I'm my brother's brother. Me, you're in love with me. So anyway, they ask her, they ask Lizzie who else might be pissed, and she's like, oh, Mr. Harrington. And they're like, who is that? And she goes, he's my father's brother-in-law. And she's like, and they're like, your mother's brother? And she's like, no, my father's only sister married Mr. Harrington. As in like, no, not my mother's brother, but my brother's sister's husband. It was just kind of weird. They have her up in the stand. They're kind of treating her like shit. Then they talk to the maid. They talk to the maid Maggie, and the most interesting parts are obviously when she talks about the murder. She's like, so this is the day of the murder. She's like, I locked all the doors. They were definitely locked. She said, then I laid down in bed. I heard the city hall bell ring, and I looked at my clock, and it was 11 o'clock. I wasn't drowsing or sleeping. In my judgment, I think I was there for 3 or 4 minutes. I don't think I went to sleep at all. I heard no sound. I didn't hear the opening or closing of a screen door. I can hear from my room if anyone else comes in. The next thing I heard was Miss Lizzie hollered, Maggie, come down. I said, what's the matter? She said, come quick. Father's dead. Someone killed him. She runs downstairs. She was like, this is funny. I hadn't taken off my shoes or any of my clothing. And then, did you ever see that YouTube video of the girl, the lady doing like, I thought someone was barbecuing.
Yeah.
What do you got time?
No.
You never heard that? You never saw that?
Anybody got time for that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm picturing this girl up on the stand. She's like, I ran downstairs. I hadn't taken off my shoes or any of my clothing. And then she's like, I thought someone was barbecuing. I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. So, but anyway, she goes downstairs. She's Lizzie. She's like, Lizzie Borden's like standing behind the against the door. And she's like, don't go in there. Just get me a doctor. The maid tries and goes to get a doctor, and the neighbor comes, and like I said, they're like tending to Lizzie, and then Lizzie's like, I thought I heard my stepmother come in. Maggie, do you think you could go upstairs and get her for me? And Maggie goes upstairs with one of the neighbors and finds like her mother axed to death under the bed or something. But they decide it's not Lizzie for a bunch of reasons, and here are some of them. These are from Wikipedia. Not all this was from Wikipedia, but this is. The murder weapon wasn't enough because they found a hatchet in the farm that they lived in, but the hatchet handle had been broken off. The two cops that found the hatchet gave two conflicting stories. So kind of like OJ's gloves. They were just like, what do you... we have to throw this out. The maid said Lizzie looked good after the murder. She was like, they asked, I read this in the transcript, they asked the maid, did she have blood on her clothes? And the maid's like, no. And they're like, was her hair tousled? And she's like, no. So nothing was wrong with Lizzie after the murder. She didn't look like she had axed someone. But later they found out that Lizzie Borden burnt or shoved all of her clothes in an oven. And she was like, well, they're ruined because I rubbed up against paint. It's like she burned clothes for rubbing up on paint. The same type of murder happened like recently before that, but all the suspects were gone. They were out of town. Lizzie was trying to buy this is like Casey Anthony. Lizzie was trying to buy acid before the murder. So kind of like Casey Anthony, that they were like, she was like looking up, she was like Googling strangling kids. The family was sick before the murders. They tested the stomachs of the victims, which was fine. There was no poison. And then they did an autopsy of the parents that you could see. You could see the pictures of the autopsy online. They're pretty sick, actually.
What?
Yeah, I mean, they're all bad quality because it was like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they brought this is fucked up though. They brought the skulls in to the courtroom, and Lizzie Borden like fainted. She was like, "What the fuck? Why are you bringing my father's skull in here?" And you could see the skulls online if you Google it. Maybe we'll put some pictures up on the webpage if you're interested at all. But that's fucked up, right? Imagine being innocent. Say she's innocent, and she could be, and she's like, someone murdered my father, and they're like, yeah, do you recognize your father's skull? It's just like,
yeah.
And then as legend has it, as Nicole was saying earlier, they came up with the poem. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41, which wasn't true actually, because she only gave like each of them like 10 whacks. But that's the story of Lizzie Borden. And
so I know forensic science was like developing around this time, so maybe they got into it, maybe they didn't. But was there any like splatter from the axe? Because you would have to like hack and pull back, and the blood would travel.
Nope, there was no. I mean, you could see the pictures of the father dead on the chair. And I'm telling you no because I've seen pictures of it, and there wasn't. On Wikipedia, it said his eye was split in two, which meant that like he was probably sleeping when it happened. Because I would assume that most people that like when I worked in an emergency room, most people that came in with gunshot wounds were in their arms because they put their arms up to like defend themselves. I think the father was just hit in the face like a shitload of times. I think the stepmother, was hit in a bunch of other places. You could read the autopsy reports, but yeah. Nothing about splatter. And this is like right after Jack the Ripper, too, if you think about it. It's 1877, right? Was Jack the Ripper? So what do you think, Kalis?
Still very interesting.
Do you have any questions?
Not really.
Are you thinking about murdering your parents right now with an axe?
Dude, the skull is awesome.
Just kind of thinking about what a bad rap it would be if she was innocent. I mean...
She actually went on to, like, donate to, like, the Humane Society or some, like, Check from there turned into like a really good person. I don't think she did it, but that's all hindsight because you have to remember this thing gained a shitload of attention because everyone thought she did it. Her motive, I probably should know, but I don't. Like why they thought it was her, why it gained so much attention.
Money? Would she get money?
Her father was like 70 though. I think her father was 70, and like. In 1892, a 70-year-old father. How much longer did she have to wait? She was like, and she was like 26.
Yeah, maybe she's just a little bit crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I just looked at the pictures and which I didn't know existed, but it's weird that he is laying on that sofa and his face is all hacked up, but there's no blood anywhere except like where his head was laying. So it's kind of like he was killed somewhere else and put there.
Oh, is that what you think?
I don't know. You can't just hack and pull back and not have blood come out. There's no way. There's no blood under him. There's no blood on the sofa beside him. There's no blood on the wall behind him. I don't get it.
But whoever it was went up the stairs to the third floor and killed the stepmother, or the second floor and killed the stepmother. Someone came in and killed the father and then went upstairs to find the stepmother and killed the stepmother. But it's very possible the stepmother saw it and she ran upstairs. And then they got her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stepmother. Oh, that's why. Because Lizzie Borden would have gotten the inheritance, but the stepmother would have got it. Unless she was dead too. And the stepmother probably had kids of her own.
Okay, so he's laying on the sofa, slumped over. I know from the other picture that there's blood on that pillow behind him, but there's no blood anywhere else. He wasn't killed in that room. There's no way. I mean, the carpet is light colored and it's got a floral pattern on it.
Well, you know what? You could bust this case wide open.
I could, if I just had the right tools and a time machine.
Oh, just go there now. It's still open. Just be like, I have new evidence in the Lizzie Borden case. And
I'm sure somebody's brought that up before. Somebody must have mentioned that before. There's no blood on the fucking carpet.
Feeling we're the only ones talking about Lizzie Borden on the face of the planet right now.
Maybe not. There's 7 billion people. There could be somebody else.
Well, that wraps up our episode 1 of season 2 of the new Strangecast. Be sure to check us out on our new website, Mimir Audio, MIMIR audio.com/thestrangecast. There you can find our podcast. You can find links to our YouTube, which is youtube.com/user/thestrangecast. We'll upload our episodes there. And be sure to join us for episode 2. Also, like I said, the 46-second intro. If you want to redo it, email us. The best one will win $25, and we'll use it for the rest of our lives, unless another one comes along.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
At the end of time.
That are actually 39 and 42, but their sunny dispositions are of that of like 5 or 6 year olds. They have this extremely rare and terminal form of leukodystrophy. Did you hear about this?
Leukodystrophy? No.
It's an extremely rare genetic disorder, and it attacks the white matter of the nervous system, and so the spinal cord and the brain start to break down over time. And so up until 6 years ago, these 2 brothers had families and jobs, everyday lives, and all of a sudden their cognitive functions and their physical functions just started to break down.
Do their parents have it? Do you know?
Their parents don't seem to, because the parents are taking care of them.
The parents are old, right?
Yeah, they're like in their 60s,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, so they've got to stay at home. They play with trains and Mr. Potato Head, and they just hang out, kind of being almost like, toddlers.
It's so weird. So they basically they develop past 6 and then regress to 6?
Right, yeah. It didn't attach. Yeah, exactly. They have families.
Like Benjamin Button.
Kids and, yeah, pretty much. Real life Benjamin Button.
What's the title of the? What's the headline?
Mine's Real Benjamin
Oh,
Button
real.
Brother.
Oh, it is real. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be weird. Would you rather? Did you ever see Benjamin Button?
I didn't see it, no.
He's a kid. He's like a baby that's an old baby. It's this. I don't know how they did it, but would you ever wanna? I think it's better. Wouldn't it be better to live your life backwards? I mean, age backwards.
No, that'd be horrible.
Why would that be horrible? After everything you've learned and experienced, you get to enjoy it that much more. Youth is wasted on the young, is what they say, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. But I mean, to be a like say a 2-year-old, but really you're like 67. That would be
Body-wise.
awful.
Body-wise, though, not.
Yeah, you're a 2-year-old body-wise.
Yeah, you
but
have nothing. What are you gonna do at 2? You don't have to do anything.
But mentally, you're a 67-year-old. You'll be bored all the time.
No, mentally, it's not. Well, you're not born with all of your memories. You're not like living like Merlin.
Then I don't get it.
Your body ages backwards.
So what happens to your mind?
It ages backwards too, but you still learn shit. You don't know it until you experience it.
Wouldn't your mind age at a normal way? So, like the opposite of what your body is aging?
Well, your experiences would, but your mind would still age backwards. So technically, as you get older, you get younger and you're able to remember things a lot better. However, you hit a certain age where you just can't store short-term memory anymore.
All right.
And that just sounds like it sucks all around.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather live like that.
But these poor guys, I don't know. They live their lives and they kind of had to give them up, you know.
How old were they?
They are 39 and 42.
Yeah, that's too young to regress to 6.
Yeah, and so fast.
Did it say how fast?
6 years ago, they started developing symptoms.
Oh, so they could be like 12 right now.
No, I mean, like, this article talks about their lives.
So there's 2 old guys that play like Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now?
I think Yu-Gi-Oh might be too complicated for them. They play with, like, Mr. Potato Head and stuff.
like Pokemon and shit?
Isn't that sad?
Pokemon.
That's in the UK. I don't know. I would just hate to. One of my worst fears in life was to have dementia. But as time goes on, I feel like it's actually better to have dementia.
I'd rather, as my brother says, he refers to his Harley as a life quality insurance policy, making sure he doesn't get old enough to experience that. Yeah, no.
Did you guys ever wonder how you're gonna die?
What?
Quickly.
You think you're gonna die quickly?
Well, I hope so.
Kalis?
Probably in an automobile accident.
The person, place, or thing, which is the corniest thing I've ever said on the podcast. But I've already pre-gamed for this episode. I'm half-cocked already, so this should be a lot of fun.
When aren't you half-cocked, am I right?
Yeah.
Up top.
I'm full cocked. Most of the time.
Oh, shit.
Cheers. Anyway. So first things first, I mean, we don't have to change what's going on, guys. We haven't talked since last week.
I shot some guns for the first time, so it was exciting. I shot a .22 rifle and
that does nothing, right? Really?
Yeah, which was it was cool. It was really cool. Because like it's a good first time shooter gun. And I ended up doing really well at target practice, so. And I shot a .45 semi-automatic and then a .45 revolver, which was pretty awesome.
Now, Kalis, you're from Texas. You must shoot guns all the time, right? Because that's how Europeans view Americans.
That is a complete misnomer. I never hunt. I'm not a hunter at all. I mean,
I thought it was like a high school requirement.
No. I mean, they have a class where that's more like wood shop and.
I feel like in Texas they have like in Connecticut we have metal detectors for the high schools in case someone brings a gun to school. So if it goes off, you like get in trouble. But in Texas I feel like it's the opposite. If the metal detector doesn't go off, they're like, "Where's your gun, bro?" Or they don't say that in Texas. They're like,
I don't think so. That's kind of like, I live in a smaller like dairy farm community, and I went to a bigger area and I told them where I was from, and they're like, "Oh, do you ride a tractor to school?" And obviously you're milking cows all the time. And I mean, like, I have milked a cow before, but that doesn't.
Oh shit! I've never milked a cow.
I didn't do it a lot. I mean, my grandparents own a dairy, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's more often than most people.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about season 2 and talking about weird news and strange things and strange people. Just so you guys know, the episode today is going to be strange news, then the interview with Kalis. Kalis interviewed someone, and then we'll wrap it up with I have a strange person from history. The first person we're talking about is Lizzie Borden. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, man.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? I know it's funny because when I told people, oh yeah, I got to do the podcast, and they're like, oh, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, Lizzie Borden. A lot of people did not know who she was. I didn't realize she wasn't as popular as I thought. But yeah, supposed axe murder, alleged axe murder. But first things first, why don't we get to the news with Nicole?
Oh, hi, guys. I'm going to bring you the news. I really feel like I should have my own theme. That's how cool this news
You know,
is going to be.
it's funny because I'm gonna make something up, by the way, for the intros. I haven't decided yet, but if you want to put a theme in, that's fine, or if you have one. All right, so we're talking about strange news. So this is just shit that kind of pops into your news stream, I guess, if people have news streams anymore. Or typically when we find strange news, it's either it comes up and it's like, it's fucking weird. Whether it's local news or you actually have to seek it. So if we found in the past that if nothing weird is happening in our own hometowns, we kind of look elsewhere. So Nicole's come up with for episode 1, she's come up with how many stories?
I've got 8.
8.
I don't know if we're going to get to 8.
You're probably not going to hear. We'll probably talk about all 8, but whoever's listening right now is probably not going to hear all 8. So, but if obviously, email us if you have something really strange that happened in your hometown.
I love strange hometown news. Those are the best. They really are.
So, do you have strange hometown news?
I had one, but I cut it out because I didn't think it was strange enough. These stories are much better. But coming from somewhere in the United States. Oh, you know what? This might be from the UK. I ran across this on Yahoo, and it's a strange story of these 2 brothers.
Welcome to the Strangecast, podcast made by Strange for Strangers. I'm Ryan.
I'm Kalis.
I'm Nicole.
We're the Strangecast. If you've never heard it before, that's our 46-second version of our intro. We're playing it this time because we have a contest going on. If you have any musical talent whatsoever, feel free to cover that song or recreate it or reboot it, as Hollywood would call it, and send it to us, and the winner gets $25 via Visa gift card, I guess. But shout out to Airwhale on Reddit who let us use that theme, by the way. And he did let us use it. I have it in writing. But a little housekeeping. Check us out on our new website, mimiraudio.com/thestrangecast, MIMIR audio.com/thestrangecast. And you can find interesting facts about us, our bios, some pictures, how to follow us, and also our YouTube link, which will link you to all of our shows, which we're going to start putting on YouTube. So that should be fun. I mean, by the time you hear this, it'll be on YouTube. But I can't put it up there until we record it. This is season 2. We are going to be talking about new things. First is going to be strange news, and then a strange interview or a strange person, and then a strange thing from history, be it person or event. So I think we should be called the strange noun.